I played earlier in the program for Reince Priebus and Scott Brown the question from James Rosen about a poll that Americans don't think that Joe Biden is mentally fit for the office. In other words, they're talking about his cognitive decline. I followed it up with a montage of these long pauses and drifting answers and seemingly mumbling, bubbling incoherence even at times. Do you believe he's struggling cognitively? Because that question was raised about you, and I've been around you long enough to know that that's not a problem for you at all.
Well, I went and took a test, and as Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's great guy, now he's a congressman, and they love him in Texas, but he said he aced it, and I don't think he ever saw anyone ace it. And I immediately said, because they started passing the false narrative, I think I'll know when the time is coming. I hope so. And maybe you will, too, when your time is coming. But, no, I aced it. And I thought it was very important because they started to put out, well, gee, did he say this? And, by the way, what I turned out to say was all right. We made a lot of right decisions. But, look, when you watch the press conference, I don't want to be the one to say, but that's not a normal situation going on up there. And they were mostly very soft questions. I mean, Peter asked a good one. A couple of people asked a little tougher than they anticipated. But that was a very, very soft press conference. Most of it was not even really questions. They're just giving, giving statements and sort of saying how wonderful things are. But things aren't wonderful. They're not wonderful for our country. Our country is in a terrible way. Our country is in a position I don't think we've ever been in. Nobody is respecting our country anymore. It's like day and night from what we had. We were respected. I don't want to say we were feared, but we can say it. But we were respected at a minimum. And I'll tell you what, they knew that we weren't playing games. And none of these things would have happened. You wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had Ukraine problems with Russia. It was all working out. Everything was fine. I got along well with them, and they understood me. I understood them. You're going to have big problems with Taiwan. You're going to have problems with many things. This is all self-inflicted stuff. And if you really look at energy, I think the biggest component of what's happened with respect to inflation is energy. And we were energy independent. We didn't need anybody. In fact, we were exporting energy, making a fortune. We were going to be double the size of Russia and China. We're going to be double their size. We weren't number one. We were number one when I left, and we were heading in a year. We were going to be bigger than both of them combined. And that's something nobody ever thought would have been possible. And instead we gave up the mantle, and we looked like a bunch of very sad fools.